I'm Michelle. Although I usually work from home, I travel for work once a month. After another exhausting trip, I'm looking forward to unwinding with a massage and then hitting the sack. As I was about to unlock my front door, I noticed something unusual. The chain lock was engaged. I live in a high-rise apartment downtown with my husband, Ryan. We've been married for 3 years. I assumed he must have gotten home before me. "Hey, Ryan, are you home?" I called out. There was no response, but I could hear the TV on in the back room. Certain he was there, I raised my voice. "Ryan, it's me, Michelle. The chain lock is on. Could you unlock the door?" Suddenly, I heard heavy footsteps and saw a face peering through the gap in the door. It was my mother-in-law. "Could you stop shouting? You're bothering the neighbors," she snapped. "What, mother-in-law? Is something wrong? I wasn't expecting you." "Well, now's a good time to tell you, you need to leave." I was taken aback by her sudden declaration. This was my apartment, yes. I bought this high-rise and am paying the mortgage. Why would I need to leave? Confused, I asked, "Mother-in-law, why should I leave?" "Well, you wouldn't understand. The apartment now belongs to me." "What do you mean?" "I changed the title to my name, so you're not allowed in here," she said with a smug expression. I was speechless, but I knew I wasn't at fault. Arguing while exhausted seemed pointless. I tried to stay calm. "So, you really want me to leave?" "Yes, that's what I've been saying. Just go." "Okay," I replied, deciding it was better to avoid conflict. I stepped back into the elevator. Reflecting on it, my mother-in-law has always had issues with me. During a family meeting, she bluntly told me, "I can't live with you." Well, I never wanted to live with her either. When I mentioned that, she responded as if I were a disobedient child. "It doesn't matter what you think. I don't want to live with you. If you have a problem with it, we can call off the engagement." I thought, what was she talking about? It was clear she didn't want to live with me, so I wondered if she was implying she wanted to end the engagement. My mother-in-law sneered. "No, I meant we won't live together." "Oh, okay then." Her displeasure was evident, and I was getting frustrated. If she really disapproved of the marriage, she should just say so. As if reading my thoughts, she shouted, "Fine, I don't approve of the marriage." "Why not? I agree we shouldn't live together." "Well, she stammered, unable to provide a clear reason. Maybe she just enjoyed complaining. Fortunately, my father-in-law intervened and resolved the situation, though my mother-in-law continued to oppose our marriage. For instance, when I mentioned the age difference, since I'm older, my mother-in-law became furious instantly. "An older wife? That's unheard of. Will you really be submissive to your husband?" The notion of a wife being submissive to her husband is outdated. Today, it's all about equality. There are no rules that a wife should be younger or that younger people should defer to older ones. Modern marriage is about mutual support. However, my mother-in-law seems stuck in the past. She believes a wife should be younger and always follow her husband's lead, such an old-fashioned mindset. Clearly, our views are too different. My mother-in-law's dislike for me is evident, and the tension between us remains. How could I address this? After some thought, I decided to move into a high-rise condo. Ryan agreed, as long as I handled the mortgage. I knew this was a significant financial commitment, but I wanted to make it clear to my mother-in-law that cohabitation was not an option. This approach worked. She stopped criticizing our living arrangements. However, her disdain for me continued. She would occasionally visit and start criticizing me, often about household chores. She seemed to think I was a stay-at-home wife neglecting housework. In reality, I'm a travel magazine writer, frequently traveling for stories and spending most of my time working at my computer. But if my mother-in-law saw me at home, she assumed I wasn't working. Our visits would often devolve into arguments. "You have time to play, so you should do some housework." "I'm actually working right now." "What? It just looks like you're messing around on your computer." "No, I'm working." "You're really bad at lying. Work is something you do at an office." Initially, I would argue that I was working, but these confrontations became exhausting. Since we're not living together, a little patience should be manageable. I decided arguing was pointless and started brushing her off. She didn't take this well and began accusing me of being lazy, insisting I should leave because I was in the way. Even though she's not a permanent resident in our home, she still visits, and I've taken to ignoring her completely. It's a relief, but one thing still concerns me, the relationship between Ryan and his mother. Ryan and his mother are very close. While family bonds are natural, their closeness has persisted even after our marriage. When I'm away on assignments, they meet secretly at our house. If they were open about it, it wouldn't bother me. But their secrecy makes me wonder if they're discussing things behind my back or plotting against me. These unsettling thoughts have crossed my mind. Recently, I had a rare overseas business trip to Southeast Asia. My editors assigned me to write an article for the holiday season. When I told Ryan about the trip, he said, "Lucky you, getting to travel overseas for work. It's not a vacation, it's for an assignment. But you'll be visiting tourist spots, right?" "Well, yes, but then it's almost like a vacation," Ryan said, sounding envious. "Sure, an overseas trip can be enjoyable if there's time, but usually, the schedule is packed, and there's barely time to shop for souvenirs." I tried to explain this to Ryan, but he didn't seem to understand. "I wouldn't understand your world. It makes me realize how mundane my life is," he admitted, his envy palpable, but his feelings didn't ease my concerns. What if there's a conspiracy against me while I'm away? My mind raced with anxiety. I decided I needed advice, so I reached out to Lauren, the lawyer our editorial department uses. I consulted with Lauren, a lawyer contracted by our department, and explained the situation. After listening, she said, "If anything happens, I'll handle it." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. However, it will be an additional fee beyond the department's contract." "That's fine," I replied. With a powerful ally in place, I felt reassured and went on my business trip. When I returned, I was met with my mother-in-law's new demands. She was talking about changing the house title and ordering me, the homeowner, to move out. I was at my breaking point. I had to confront her. Kicked out of my own home by my mother-in-law, I shouted in frustration while alone in the elevator. As soon as I was out of the building, I called Lauren and explained the situation. She replied, "All right, let's sort this out tomorrow. Can you manage that?" "Yes, I have no other plans tomorrow, thank you so much." So, it was settled. Lauren and I would confront my mother-in-law together. That night, I stayed in a business hotel near the train station, preparing for the next day's confrontation. After a restful night, I met up with Lauren near the station, and we went over our strategy in detail at a nearby family restaurant. Once we had everything planned, I made a call, and then Lauren and I headed to my house. I rang the doorbell, and my mother-in-law's voice came through. "Hello, hello," she peered out, looking somewhat pleased. "Hello, mother-in-law. Oh, I thought it was a delivery. Too bad. We're coming in." No, you can't. You left on your own. This is my house now. If you refuse to let us in, I'll call the police," I warned, but she seemed unfazed. Boldly, she said, "The police? Go ahead and call them. Didn't I tell you the house is in my name?" This wasn't going anywhere, so I exchanged glances with Lauren. Lauren nodded and said, "May we have a moment?" "What do you want?" "I'm Lauren, Michelle's attorney. I'm here at her request." "And why would an attorney come?" "It's a sensitive matter, so it would be best discussed inside." "I refuse. I won't let strangers into my home." That should be my line, I thought. Lauren sighed and said, "Fine, let's let the neighbors hear about your actions." My mother-in-law's expression changed, clearly flustered. She turned to me and said, "Michelle, make her stop talking." "That's not happening. All you have to do is let us in." "Fine, come in." She relented, and I finally had the chance to enter my home, but this was just the beginning. Walking into the living room, energized and ready, I found Ryan laughing in front of the TV. "Mom, where's the luggage?" Ryan asked, looking up. "I'm back, Ryan." "Michelle, why the surprise? Got something to hide?" "No, I'm just surprised you're here since you said you left." "Whatever, Ryan, come over here." I gestured for him to join us, and he reluctantly moved to the table. We sat down, facing my mother-in-law and her allies, and the conversation began in a charged atmosphere. My mother-in-law spoke first. "Both of you came back home under these circumstances?" "Well, it's my house," I shot back, her expression soured. "For the last time, it's my house now. The ownership's been transferred." "Is that true?" I asked, my voice steady despite her cold demeanor. "Of course, changing house ownership is easy. Guess you wouldn't know, being a shut-in," she said with a smug smile. Lauren then addressed her directly, her tone authoritative. "Earlier, you mentioned changing the house ownership. Are you sure about that? Don't act so superior just because you're a lawyer. Stop making me repeat myself." "Who prepared the quitclaim deed?" "Quitclaim deed? I did," mother-in-law stammered, clearly flustered. I could tell she was lying, but Lauren spotted a different issue. "In this situation, the current owner, Michelle, would need to create and sign the deed. Are you saying you forged it? Forged? Yes, that's document forgery, and I'll report you to the authorities. Wait a minute, that's not true. I had someone else do the paperwork. Who? A lawyer? I suspected this was another lie, but Lauren remained calm and continued with her questions. Let's discuss this so-called lawyer later. Mother-in-law looked visibly relieved, but her respite was brief as Lauren pressed on. Now, let's talk about the mortgage. The mortgage? Yes, the home loan, the remaining balance. I don't know anything about that. If there's an outstanding mortgage, changing the property title without settling the balance breaches the contract. You didn't know that? Well. You transferred the property title without understanding these details. No, it's not like that. Michelle said she would give it to me. This is absurd. No one would give away a home they're living in, especially when there's still a mortgage. Mother-in-law's story made no sense, but Lauren shifted her approach. So, you're saying the property was transferred to you? Yes, transferred, that's right, it was given to me, mother-in-law declared confidently. Lauren pulled out a calculator. If it was transferred, you'll need to pay federal taxes. Please provide the details. Federal taxes? Depending on the property's value, it could be a substantial amount. Lauren's knowing smile made mother-in-law and Ryan exchange worried glances. Mother-in-law quickly changed her story. No, that's not it, I bought it from Michelle. There are no federal taxes on a purchase, right? Either way, property taxes are due. You should consult your lawyer for specifics. A lawyer? Whether it was transferred or purchased, taxes are still required, Lauren stated bluntly. With mother-in-law and Ryan silent, Lauren pressed, what will you do? They remained mute. After a few awkward moments, mother-in-law finally spoke up. I apologize. I lied about changing the property title. So you were lying all along, I said, my voice rising. Mother-in-law recoiled and stammered. No, I didn't mean to deceive. Then what did you mean? Well, I was trying to cause a divorce, she began to explain. The story began the day before my overseas business trip. On that day, mother-in-law and father-in-law had a petty argument that quickly escalated. Father-in-law yelled, I'm tired of you always wasting money. What are you talking about? I'm fed up with you not making enough money. What did you say? I said you should earn more. That's it, I want a divorce. Just like that, they decided to end their marriage. But then, mother-in-law had a realization. Despite her complaints, they had been living comfortably on father-in-law's income. If they divorced, she'd be left with only her savings, significantly lowering her quality of life. I don't want that. How can I maintain my lifestyle? After considering her options, she decided that moving in with us was the solution. However, I had made it clear from the start that we wouldn't be living together, and I wasn't about to change that now. So, she concluded that the best course of action was to force me out and live with Ryan alone. So, Ryan, did you agree with mother-in-law to kick me out? Well. Ryan, mother-in-law nudged. Ryan agreed, didn't he? Speak up, say you want a divorce. Despite mother-in-law's prodding, Ryan couldn't bring himself to say it. I understood why Ryan hesitated. If mother-in-law knew the true reason, she would never suggest a divorce. But after being treated so badly, I couldn't forgive them. I decided to take the lead. Fine, let's get a divorce. Oh, finally, Michelle and I agree on something. See, even mother-in-law says so. Let's use this opportunity to move forward. Ryan looked down, silently nodding as he processed the situation. I had one. I glanced at Lauren, who pulled out the divorce papers from her bag. Here are the divorce papers, she said. I'll go over them, so please sign here. Okay, Ryan responded quietly. We signed the papers right there. I watched with a smirk as Ryan finished signing and handed the documents to Lauren. Is this, good enough? I asked Lauren. Yes, you're officially divorced now. Lauren placed the papers into her bag. At that moment, my mother-in-law raised her voice. Now that Michelle is a stranger to us, get out immediately. Why should I asked, bewildered. With a wicked grin, mother-in-law said, you initiated the divorce, so as compensation, I'm taking this house. But you were the one who first mentioned the divorce, weren't you? I don't know anything about that. Mother-in-law feigned innocence, though it was glaringly obvious. I had no intention of paying her a cent. So, I told her, this all started because of your lie. Mother-in-law, let's discuss compensation. No way, We're not paying you a single cent. Tell her. Ryan, mother-in-law urged Ryan. Ryan, who had been silent, suddenly stood up. Yeah, since the divorce is finalized, maybe I should say something. Suddenly confident, I asked. Ryan pulled out photos from his pocket and started ranting. Michelle, you said you were on a business trip overseas, but you were actually having an affair, weren't you? What, an affair? Yes, this photo is proof. Ryan slammed a photo onto the table. I looked at it, confused. It was a photo of me with a photographer from the editorial department. Is this guy your lover? I've been following you. I saw you two getting cozy. You cheated, Ryan insisted. He's just a photographer from the editorial department. He was there to take photos. Liar, I saw it myself, Ryan persisted. I sighed. This was turning into more trouble than I expected. Lauren interjected. This isn't proof of infidelity. What did you say? All these photos show that you were together. If you claim it was an interview, that's what it looks like. So what? Just being together is enough. It's cheating, Ryan declared.